Everybody roll 20-sided.
720.
Or 17.
Not even joking.
You're not even joking?
Right there.
13.
That's really depressing. You have gone through an ordeal. You more than him. You were escorting the first daughter, Lana, on just a jaunt to a hunting lodge. All of you were drugged. When you woke up in the morning, she was gone, along with Lord Toril. You have been pursuing them through the lands of Makos into the land of Karen, where you have met up with him. He has helped you, but always kind of maintained his own counsel. You're not quite sure where Karen stands on all of this, but you have retrieved Lana after defeating the witch and her goblins. All of this is totally beyond the realm of your understanding. You have seen things in the last few days that you didn't even know existed. The mercenary has died. With you is Dante. And Dante is kind of a strange cat. You don't know really what he's all about. He's from the south. And he is a traveling scholar. He has an alchemy kit, and he takes it out and does experiments with it. And he speaks of things like magic, but then when he's asked what he's talking about or what he's doing, he's closed-lipped, but in a weird kind of almost on the spectrum way. He'll say things like, yes, I'm doing something, but it's a secret and I can't talk to you. But you know that he probably comes from wealth, and he is very wealthy. With him is a hired man who is a cold-blooded assassin, Boric. And Boric has been absolutely invaluable in fights, and he is no nonsense, not someone you'd ever want to mess with. There is Simona. Simona is the shield maiden. She comes from a noble house. Her hair is cut like a man. She is unattractive. She is in armor. She is very serious and meticulous and neurotic. She is a noble of your house. You are a commoner of that house, which is why you are there. She is basically, you have no choice but to serve her. Your house alliance pretty much supersedes almost everything. So where Simona goes, you go, unless you want to pay the consequences for that when you get home.
Okay.
Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Simona doesn't talk much. When she does, it's usually a little bit nervous. Lana was her responsibility. There will be fallout for her when you get home. Luckily, however, you have found Lana. She has been closed-lipped, 15-year-old girl. Luckily, the arrogance and lip that you ordinarily get from her first daughter has been gone, but she is surly and doesn't speak much. There is Boudica, and Boudica is your pair. It is unusual for a Jaeger to have a berserker swordsman as a pair. That is indeed what you have. She is a woman. She has wild blonde hair and blue eyes. She's weathered. She's beautiful, but when you look at her, it's almost like you see a wild animal. A berserker is like the lowest level of barbarian. They're as close to an animal as a human being can get. But she listens to you, and she knows that she doesn't understand civilization. You have been together for a while. There's also Lord Toril. And Lord Toril is the 14-year-old knight who ran off with Lana. But as you recall, you captured him, and he broke down, and he said that he loved her and did her bidding, and she was the one that wanted to run off, which kind of surprised everyone.
He just went with her.
He just went with her, and the things that he said, he was now afraid of her. Mm-hmm. And he said he didn't know what was wrong with her, that she seemed to have two personalities, and he was utterly confused. And where you are now, you had gone to this area that was in this wasteland. It was absolutely verdant. And there was this beautiful cottage up on the hill filled with food and victuals and herbs. And there was this beautiful woman there named Alondra. And she took you in and fed you and ended up drugging all of you. And it was only because one of you refused to eat that you even survived at all.
Yeah. She
escaped. There are 5 dead goblins. You have retrieved Lana. The man who did not eat that fought these 5 goblins is in terrible shape. And that would be Tark. And you tended Tark yourself. Jaegers, you are used to being out in the wilderness. You're used to being wounded and not having anyone out there. You have stitched your own wounds. The only thing is these goblins are absolutely foul. Every single one of their weapons was coated in goblin excrement. He was slashed and cut and wounded all over. You spent hours with him cleaning out his wounds. You finally got to the point where you could move, and you did.
Mm-hmm.
You decided almost en masse at the last place that you wanted to be was in this witch's hovel, in this little enchanted land in the wilderness where the goblins could return.
Right.
And you are actually now back at the outlaws' campsite. As you recall, you defeated some outlaws and you camped where they were.
Okay.
So that's where you are now.
We still have horse or no?
Your horses, if you recall, in a day's walk, you will come to this escarpment, and you'll have to climb up the escarpment. It's almost a 50-foot cliff, and you have put down ropes, and your horses are tied to the trees at the top of that escarpment.
Cave.
You have a day's ride before you get to that cliff. Roll 20-sided one more time.
15.
There's a couple hours before nightfall, and so you have checked up on him. He is feverish, and you look at his wounds, and just something is wrong. You just cleaned his wounds. There's not enough. I mean, for what you did for him, and the witch's hovel, if it had anything, it had everything that you would need to dress a wound. He looks like you smeared excrement into his wounds, not
So they
cleaned them
just
out.
came back.
It looks like you smeared excrement into his wounds 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
You cleaned his wounds less than a day ago.
Okay.
Something is not right. But he is hanging in there. You feel terrible, and you know that something is very, very wrong. That's not normal. You have been wounded before. You have seen wounds fester before. This is not normal. Something's wrong. You are looking out for him, and you're both looking at these wounds, and you just share a look. You don't even need to say it. Something's happening that is not normal. And in that moment, something else happens. And that is you see Boudica, the berserker, and she is standing, and when she does, she almost looks like an animal. It's so hard for you to even see her as a woman, even though that she is beautiful and blonde and buxom and fit. But when you look at her, it's like she's a different species. It's the strangest thing. And she's looking out. She has her sword out, and she's looking out over the mountains. And then she turns to you almost instinctively, like she knows that you're looking at her. And then she just looks up at the mountains. Like, that's exactly right. And you follow her eyes, and off in the distance, you see fires in the mountains. And they're almost at regular heights, like huge bonfires.
Mm-hmm. Signal fires.
There's 5 of them. And that perhaps bodes ill, but you don't know what it means. And you look and you see them as well. And in that moment, something very strange happens. I want you guys to both roll 20-sided one more time.
What? 20.
Like those rolls. You see Simona, the shield maiden, she bolts up. And as soon as she stands, she collapses to her knees, and she stands again, and she fumbles with her sword, and she takes it out, and to your horror and astonishment, you see she is looking at Boudica, and Boudica realizes that, and just turns. Puts one foot to the right, and just turns and faces her with no fear. My brother's sword! You have my brother's sword! And then she turns to you two, like the two most civilized people there, and she says, "You don't understand, my brother, he went missing. He was Valkening. He went missing. That's his sword. You have my brother's sword." Boudica is just staring at her.
Zane, you know her better than anyone.
Simona walks towards her, and Boudica just brings up her sword.
You better stop this. I can't help.
Yeah.
"Give me my brother's sword! Give me!" And then Simona just she kind of wakes up, and she runs back and she grabs her shield and puts on her helmet. And you see Boric and Dante, they kind of stand, they don't know what's going on. Dante kind of looks at you and just complete misunderstanding. Boric, he steps back and he just puts a hand on his scimitar, but nothing else. Simona straps on her helmet and grabs her shield. She has her sword out. She stands up, and then she charges. Roll 20-sided one more time.
19.
She charges. You see Boudica just grab the sword, bring it back. Woof! Like this, Simona puts up her shield. It glances off the shield. Simona strikes. They are going at it tooth and nail. You are kneeling by him. You're not quite sure what to do. Boudica is your partner. Simona is in your house. You're not sure what side you are on. I'm going to give you and you. I want you to roll for Simona. I want you to roll for Boudica.
7.
19.
They are pretty evenly matched, and the reason why is because Boudica is a specimen with a longsword. She is just dancing. Simona is in better armor, and she's trained. The thing is, Boudica is just, there's too much strength going into her blows. She's knocking the shield out of the way. Simona is losing her balance. And then Boudica is just, it's like she is doing combinations with the longsword.
Yeah.
And as soon as Simona can get her balance, she just can't get any offense off. I want you two to roll one more time.
19.
8.
They finally step back from each other. It went about even, Steven. Both of them are cut, not badly. And they step back. Boudica has a huge smile on her face. Simona is sobbing. Simona turns to you. She says, get your bow. Get your bow.
Simona, we need to have cool heads here.
Get your bow.
We need to have cooler heads
She
here.
killed my brother.
We don't know that. We don't know what.
How did you get that sword? And Boudica looks at the sword and she says, oh, this one? I saw a man who looks like you falconing in the forest. I took it from him. I cut off his head. I put it in a tree so the head could speak of my deeds to all passerbys. And then Simona turns to you and is like, you, get your bow! And she charges again, and Boudica just waits for it. Whoosh! Comes down with the longsword. Simona, kring, takes it on the shield. Oh, goes to a knee. Simona goes low. Whoosh! Whack! You see Simona goes down, and Boric steps forward. He says, enough. But then Boudica turns to him and just, with no fear. And Boric smiles, and he pulls out his sword. He goes, what will it be, wild woman?
Zane, do something. Talk her down.
Okay, I'm gonna grab my bow.
You grab your bow.
Yeah.
And Boric, he steps forward and he looks at you. And actually, he goes to you. Not offensively. In fact, he just walks up to you slowly.
Yeah.
But he's about 3 feet away. And he just looks at you. And you realize, perhaps too late, that your best chance against him was to fire an arrow because this man is a fell slayer.
Yeah.
And he's now too close for you to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Sit down. Boudica, roll 20-sided for Boudica.
5.
Boudica charges him.
Oh, sheesh.
All right. I'm gonna take my bow. I'm just gonna try and shoot. Ching,
ching, ching! Woof! This is for Boudica's life. Roll 20-sided.
6.
Boric has fought berserkers before, and he's fought people with longswords before. And it's just like a few practiced motions. The longsword is to one side. Roll one more time.
I'm just gonna drop back my bow and shoot Boudica in the foot. 14.
He racks her across the face. Not with the blade, with the hilt and the pommel in his fist.
Mm-hmm.
Crack! She drops the longsword and goes down, and he puts his foot on it.
Mm.
But then Simona charges Boudica. You fire it. This is for you and Boudica. Roll 20-sided.
20.
You do not shoot at Boudica because you realize that she has been subdued.
Yeah.
But Simona is charging at Boudica, and Boudica does not have a sword. Boudica looks at her, grabs a knife, but now it's a totally different fight. Let's roll 20-sided one more time. Simona, Boudica.
15.
3.
It is over quickly. And Boudica, she takes a nasty blow to the chest, and she steps back with the knives, but just blood is pouring out from her and dripping out of her mouth. And you see her just... And then she charges Simona in one last attempt. And this is just, she's going to give everything to try to kill her.
Yeah, I mean, she's up my house.
Roll 20-sided one time.
8.
Boudica jumps in the air. Simona puts her blade straight through her. The blade comes down. Whoosh. Boudica is dead, but her blade goes into her helmet, doesn't go into her skull, but just cuts her, and the knife goes into her helmet, and they both fall down. Boudica is dead. Simona is screaming. Roll 20-sided one more time.
5.
Boric, he puts his sword away. He goes, well, that was interesting. We're one down. And Dante kind of just scratches his head like he just doesn't understand what's going on. And the two of you are there, and you are a little bit horrified. And as you stare at the scene, past them, on the lip, you see cats.
Cats.
4 cats, like house cats. And they're at the lip, and meow. And they're just sort of like almost like you're mice. And they're observing you, and they're just sort of like stalking around the lip of this hollow. And there's 4 of them, and they're like house cats. They're making absolutely no attempt to. They're not afraid. They're not anything. And then when you look up from the cats, you also see something else. To the north, all right, we're approaching summer. To the north, you see dark clouds, and it's getting night, but you plainly see that there's a storm coming from the north. Both of you are Jaegers. You should both know what this means. Roll 20-sided.
1.
Storms from the north are very rare. When the storms come in from the north, it means bitter Arctic temperatures and snow. And it's very rare, but when it happens, the whole climate pattern changes. These storms from the north bode ill. They only come in the winter. This is a winter storm from the north coming right at the beginning of summer, just past the 4 house cats. And both of you look at the clouds, and if nothing else surprises you and takes you aback, it is that. It is unnatural. One of you is down, the 4 cats are meowing, and your wounds are, they're not festering yet, but they are vicious and red and swollen.
Can Torque travel? Can he walk? Can he ride?
He traveled today.
Okay.
Tomorrow, who knows?
I can walk a bit, but if we're going to cross up into the mountains, I need to be on horse.
The horses are above the escarpment.
I
And-
have some trouble crossing that terrain.
All of a sudden, both of you hear laughter.
Great. First witches, then goblins.
Yeah.
And
And then what the hell happened with Boudica? Did you know about the sword?
I
Please tell me you didn't
I
know,
did
otherwise you're going to have bigger problems.
I did not know. I didn't.
Simona is on one knee sobbing, and Lana is the one who is laughing.
You have to talk to her. Go say something to Simona. Tell her you didn't know.
So I walk over to Simona. I tell her, obviously, I did not know that Boudica had done this. Everything that's happened today,
Where did you think she got the sword? Is that a foul, savage creature sword? Where would she have gotten a prince's sword?
I mean, clearly from a prince.
She holds the long sword, and you can tell it is fine.
Yeah.
And she just holds it to her head, and she cries. And you knew that the first son of her house had disappeared. It was a tremendous tragedy. No one knew what happened.
Yeah.
And now you do know. And you look over at Boudica, and she is slain, and you have traveled with her for months. This was your partner, and
Yeah.
she is now dead.
Yeah, and I mean, trusted, huge amount of trust. We almost shared a brain. You know, I just tell Simona, I mean, I'm devastated by this situation and the loss of her brother, and I make a prayer.
Roll 20-sided once.
8.
You have no idea whether your words have had effect or not. Boric starts to dig a hole. Lothric, roll 20-sided.
10.
You are the second son of the ruling house of Makos. Lana, first daughter, is your sister. You are traveling to find out what the hell happened. Nothing you have heard makes any kind of sense. Perhaps you have your theories. You wanted to come with a full truth. You understand what the marriage of your sister means. Makos is wealthy. Garda is militaristic. Garda is between you and a lot of other towns to the north. It is an alliance that you need. It is an alliance that Garda needs. If this falls through, there could be tremendous diplomatic consequences. Not to mention, I mean, there could be war. You are shocked because Lana didn't seem, you just don't know what happened. Lana seemed like just a typical first daughter. Yes, perhaps a bit arrogant with the servants and that sort of thing. But, when you spoke to her, she seemed like your sister. She was a bit distant of late, but she's also to be married in a month, so it is to be expected. You wanted to come with the full truth. You were not allowed to. You secured permission to be in this land. You have the necessary papers for it, but there are only 10 with you. There are 2 that you converse with the most. The first is Vizio. Vizio is a courtier. He is minor nobility of a house that is affiliated with your own. Vizio is an expert when it comes to rules, etiquette, diplomacy, law. He is someone that you would get advice for anything in that realm. The other is Athne, and Athne is actually the 4th son of your house. He's your brother. He is your younger brother. He is a hothead. Typically, the further down the chain the son happens to be, the more of a hothead they will be, for the very reason that they're not getting anything. They must distinguish themselves in battle to get anything. Your brother is on fire to distinguish himself in battle. He is peacock proud. He suffers no slight or insult. He is the first to charge. In fact, he has been in battle and he has been the first to charge. But he is stout, he's your brother, and you share that bond. You have spoken of what has happened, and no one truly has any idea, and you almost don't even want to talk about it because it's dishonorable. This is something that people talk about for generations. If this goes south, it will be even worse. And you are on the road. You are headed to a place called Airguard. And Airguard is a tower, just a simple keep. It is east of Cairn, the city of Cairn. And Jaegers have all these little stations set up. There are Jaegers throughout the lands surrounding all of these city-states. So Airguard is just a ranger citadel, and there's maybe 20 Jaegers who operate outside of it. You have received permission to go here, and you figured this is the best place to hook up with Lana. You have seen hide nor hair of anything or anyone, except for today. Roll 20-sided.
Do I have, in my own 20, in my own party, do I have any trackers or Jaegers, or is it all just knights?
It is all knights. However, you are not incompetent. In fact, Athne is pretty good in the wild. And you have been instructed how to get there. There is actually deer trails and that sort of thing, and he has led you competently. And it is not hard to get to someplace with infrastructure if you know what you're doing. You are definitely not you're out in the wild, but that you can get where you're going.
Yeah.
You expect, for some reason in your mind, you expected to hook up with Jaegers of Karen and for them to be out in the wild and to show you and to help you. And there's a part of you that is like, Was that a wise assumption? I am not in my own lands, but it's not even anything that occurred to you because of who you are. You are not inheriting the dukedom, but you are close and you travel intelligently. You have two that are further back, you have two that are further forward. You have two that are always to the right a little bit, two that are always a little bit to the left. You cannot really be taken by surprise because you travel like this, and it's just simply something that you do that is automatically ordered anytime that you're out in the boonies. And your vanguard actually returns with another man on horseback, and you recognize him. It is a traveling priest that has been in Makos for 6 months, and his name is Father Ivor. And Father Ivor was one of the people who went out with Lana, and the next day headed south instead of north. And he is there, and when he sees you, he's like, "Thank the gods, Lothar, Lord Lothar."
Father Ivor, what happened? What happened with my sister? What happened with the party?
He looks worse for wear. He looks like he's been traveling through the wilderness, and he says, "I have the worst possible news. All of the tracks, understand, went north, but there was a small party that went south. And for some reason, I knew that they were right. And there was a part of me that thought that they could be in league with Lord Toro. Understand, a day later, I myself saw the tracks that led south. But for some reason, I could not at the time. And the tracks to me led north. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is devilry. Devilry. The ones who went south, I can only assume they are with Lord Toro.
So you think Lord Toro has some hand in this?
Lord Toro went with Lana. The pair of them set off.
He's a young knight. He's just a boy.
He's just a boy. The shield maiden, Simona, I do not know if she is with Lana in this or not, but she thinks there's been no dishonor. Honestly, no one knows what happened, but I can only assume that the party that went south is part of this devilry because there was no other reason for them to do this. Everyone else went north.
Do you have any indication that Lana was taken without her consent?
There is no indication at all. There is every indication that she is the one that drugged us. That they packed 2 horses and they set off. And the 2 horses were not close together. They were 2 horses that travel as 2 trusted travelers would. And then we met up with a Jaeger of Kauren. His name was Tark. And I explained to him that these people that I was traveling with were part of the devilry. They could not be trusted. He sent me off, and I have found you.
And you're welcome to join us. I mean, we are headed south in ultimate pursuit of Lana. But first we go to the Jaeger Citadel of Airguard.
Thank the gods.
Indeed.
And Athene turns to you, and he says, "Brother, look." And you turn and look, roll 20-sided.
19.
You see a column of white smoke. 2 things. 1, you're not as attuned to the weather as them. You are not a Jaeger, but you do know that there is a cold wind blowing from the north because it makes you cold. There is a column of white smoke in the distance. The column of white smoke should be blowing with that wind, but it isn't blowing half as much as it should. It is almost straight up, but it veers a little bit, and it is white, like a cloud.
And did you say it was in the direction we're headed?
It is, but a little bit more to the east. And Vizio turns to you and he says, "It is a Jaeger signifier. Definitely of Kauren."
Perhaps they, are you familiar with their signals? Do you know what it means?
It means come in all haste, I would imagine. Whatever is at Airguard is headed for that fire, I would guarantee it.
Perhaps we should render aid as well. I mean, we certainly can afford to make friends in Caring. Head towards the signal fire.
You order it. Head towards the signal fire. Everyone nods, and the column continues again. And Lord Ivor, he takes a position by your side. As a priest, he is obviously... Priests have an interesting place in the hierarchy. They obviously would take your commands when it came to everything, but there are some things where you would come to him and receive his guidance. And he talks to everyone as an equal. So when he rides next to you, he immediately starts to talk about the party that he left with. As he talks, honestly, the mystery only deepens. But there is one thing that he talks about that strikes you as very strange. Roll 20-sided one more time.
10.
It is the two men, Dante and Boric. You have been briefed on Dante and Boric. Dante was a traveling sage from the South, and these men are highly valued because the South is far wealthier, far more advanced than this. And when they come, sometimes they will say 3 words about agriculture or about, oh, we do this in my land, but the way that we do it is like this. And all of a sudden it will revolutionize everything that you do. Everyone hangs on their words. They're very generous. They give gifts. They sometimes give treatises and books on things that are extremely valued. And it was a tremendous honor for this man Dante to be there in your land. And he was traveling with a man named Boric. And his father, Ivor, speaks. You get the impression that Boric is a very deadly man of few words, who did not suffer fools and made sure that the party that traveled south did so quickly and efficient. And you're wondering why that would be so, that this stranger, and Boric is from the Sea Princes, which is part of the Middle Kingdoms, but far to the north, and their culture and even their language is different. Some hired sword of Dante. Dante is the philosopher, sage traveler from the south. But when he speaks of Dante, he brings up something that really kind of sets your hackles aflame, and that is that he has an alchemy kit. And he's, every few hours or so, he's doing things with it. And the chemicals, it's almost like the way he described it is like there's this chessboard with mercury on it. And it moves in certain directions, and then he follows that direction. And sometimes he speaks of magic. But then when he's asked about it, he says something cryptic and strange, like, yes, all of this is a secret and I cannot talk of it. And Father Ivor is like, it's the weirdest thing. If it was a secret, why would he say something like that? And it's almost like he's speaking like he's this intelligent sage philosopher speaking like a fool. Like, yes, I have a secret, but I cannot tell you of it. Who would talk like that?
Lothar kind of leans over as they travel on horseback. Are you trying to tell me that he might be involved with this subterfuge?
Father Ivor, his eyes go wide. He says, my lord, that is precisely what I am saying. I am saying that the party that went south, they were not befuddled as I was, as everyone else was. You have to understand that there were multiple Jaegers of your city there. Lord Borrell was there. And they all saw tracks leading north, as did I. Yet this party that went south swore that they saw the tracks leading south. And then, as I traveled with them, suspicious, mind you, suspicious of what was going on, all I could see were things that arose my suspicion even more. That this party that traveled with them, they were part of this madness. They were part of the sorcery. It was all I could think of. And this man, Dante, regardless of who he is, he must be involved in whatever it is that he was doing. This foolish wise man, whoever it is, what on earth was he doing?
You had no indication, did you have an indication that he was at the beck and call of my sister, or if he was pulling the strings?
My lord, I will tell you true. I have no idea. I have no idea whether your sister is being misled. I had no idea whether your sister was a part of this. I have no idea whether your sister is simply of a flight of youthful fancy.
I should have paid better attention to the party she was traveling with. To refresh my memory again, why was this Dante and Boric part of her sojourn? She
is a courtier. She is a member of the court on the jaunt. We were all going to divert ourselves. We were simply going to Arkenwell, to this hunting camp, to trace the route to Garda, where she would meet up with members of the wedding party 1 month hence. We were gathering strawberries and flowers, my lord.
This Dante just took the opportunity to go north as well?
The original trip to Arkenwell was east and a bit north. And everyone went north to follow the tracks except for the small party of these suspicious characters. I would not trust any of them.
But he was on that original trip just to travel and sightsee, or to go to guard?
He did strange things, my lord. He would take leaves and put them between the pages of his books and label them in his own tongue. He would talk of us of the animals and creatures that were in the forest. He looked at the rocks on the ground. He was, to all intents and purposes, he came off as a learned man who was learning about a land that he did not spend much time in. It was fascinating to watch him. I must tell you true. He is the least intelligent, smartest man I've ever met. If that makes any sense at all.
I'm not sure I quite understand that one, but perhaps I will meet him soon for myself. Very well. He sort of pulls back a little bit and continues to run towards the smoke.
Roll 20 sided one more time.
16.
Roll 20.
11.
You too are traveling, although your traveling partner, Garuda, is not quite the stinging conversationalist. In fact, you have absolutely nothing in common with him at all. He is a Jute. A Jute is a very interesting, dangerous thing that brings fear, maybe even terror, into the hearts and minds of those of the Middle Kingdoms. A Jute is a barbarian, but a barbarian that is even more technologically advanced than civilization. Their swords are better, their armor is better, their boats are better, but their hearts are utterly savage. They are primordial warriors. They believe that they will not reach the halls of their forefathers after death unless they die in battle. They are barbarians to their absolute core. They are primordial animal warriors who are high tech. It is like the absolute recipe for destruction, and they are raiders. However, they're also traders, and occasionally they come to the Middle Kingdoms, and they are mercenaries and hired men. And in this capacity, they are very well respected. And this man, Garuda, he bears all the insignia, and the necklace of the free fighters. And what that means is he is a hired man in the Middle Kingdoms, and he bears all the paperwork that will indicate that. And so someone would look upon him and be absolutely terrified that they are a Jew, but then see his cloak and his necklace and know that he is a free fighter. And they would put their mind at ease because they know that a Jew free fighter is a very disciplined sort who would follow the word of the person who has hired him to the death. And luckily, that happens to be you. Now, you wish you could speak to him of languages and lore and all of these sorts of things. It doesn't really interest him. He is a killer. He is a slayer. He is a leader of killers and slayers. But Garuda likes one thing more than killing, and that is gold. Garuda likes gold. So Garuda, puts up with you. You know that he probably sees you as a lower form of life, that you are the worst kind of civilized man. He would never say this, but when he looks at you every once in a while, you see the contempt of a man. And to see that in someone's eyes can sometimes, you try not to take offense because you know that Garuda has never, ever, through word or gesture, indicated that contempt. It is just a look you see in his eyes. But you know that most people that Garuda encounters in civilization, he is contemptuous of. But you ask him a question, he answers it. You tell him to do something, he does it. And there are secrets between you and Garuda, and there are secrets that you keep to yourself that Garuda does not know, but you trust him. As long as the gold is flowing, the honor of the Jutes is to do what you wish. But you also must be careful with him because he is who he is. If Garuda dishonored himself for you, you would have to pay for it. He would expect that without even asking. So if someone insulted him and he kept his mouth shut because you didn't want Garuda to kill him, you're paying. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. And he would expect that if you did not do that, that would be the last time you ever saw Garuda, and he would probably kill you first. It's just expected that if he cannot maintain the honor of the Jutes, you pay. And as long as you're paying, he can keep his mouth shut. Roll 20 sided.
3.
All of a sudden you hear hold, and Garuda stops, and you see that he is shocked. People don't sneak up on Garuda. He's lived a warrior's life. You are taken utterly by surprise. In fact, it takes you like a couple seconds to even register where the voice came from, and you do. You see a Jaeger 30 feet ahead, and where he is standing, he is almost completely blended into his surroundings. You're in a forest that has all kinds of undergrowth, and he is just standing in front of a bush, and he was just so half in it and so still that you just didn't even spot him. It takes you a couple seconds, but then you see him, and the Jaeger looks at you and he smiles because he knows he's surprised. But that's a Jaeger. He says, "Who are you? Why are you in the lands of Karen?"
I'm Azar of Mirelos. I'm from the Thousandlands, the Dunelands of Zaptoga.
Garuda pulls his horse back 3 feet so that you are ahead, and he says, he just puts his hand on the pommel of his saddle, puts chin to chest. Quiet.
This is my friend and escort, Garuda.
You are a strange pair.
Some say so.
He steps forward, he says, "Papers."
Does this Jaeger look can I tell if I think, do I get the feeling that he would accept me or would want to bribe me?
If anyone's not going to accept a bribe in the Middle Kingdoms, it's going to be a Jaeger.
Okay. I just hand him the papers.
All right, he steps forward and he takes your papers and he looks at it, and then he hands it back. And he says, "What brings you to these lands?"
I'm a merchant and I study the histories of the different lands and to better understand the cultures and the art. The art is beautiful and it's very lush here. There's so many things that I can bring back to my lands to teach my people and to probably to sell. A very good coin can be made.
He actually takes his bow off his back. And he steps right up to you and he says, "We have self bows." And he hands you the bow. And he says, it's rumored that in your lands, you have bows made out of different pieces of wood and horn, and even sinew. Does this ring true to you?
May I fire a bow?
He takes out an arrow and he hands it to you.
I do have archery. I pull it out. Falling for a tree. I see a bird or anything like that.
Roll 27.
12.
There's a good knot in a tree, which is always a great target because it doesn't hurt the tree. The thing is that you realize that the pull on this bow is absolutely substantial. Like you know that you're meant to pull it back to about here, and you're not going to be able to, which will make you look really bad in the eyes of the Jaeger. But the truth is that it takes someone who has studied the bow their entire life to fire a bow like this. But you pull it back as far as you can and you fire it, and you sense artistry to the bow. And maybe it's every bit as good as any bow you've ever fired, but you know that the technology of bow making where you come from is far more advanced. But you're impressed with what they've done. You can tell that artistry has been involved in the construction of this bow and arrow. This is a fine arrow.
I pick up the bow, I roll it, I play with the strings. It's very balanced. It's beautiful. Fire is beautiful. Your arrows, exquisite. What bird do you pull from the feathering, from fletching?
He smiles and he says, "Well spotted. Goose."
Ah, very nice. Brings it to him.
He leans forward and he says, more specifically, Gosling. Never an adult goose. Never. And he puts the bow back and he says, "There are very few things that you can talk about that I will understand. But I don't know why the mayor of the palace of Karen is nearby. I will bring you to him. I don't know why he is here, but he is, and he has brought quite a retinue."
Lovely. Perhaps I can make some friends.
He nods and he takes off just immediately, just at a trot. Jaegers never use horses really, but they're always at a run. And the truth is that they can keep up with horses, and you trot off. And you heard the phrase mayor of the palace, and you kind of search your memory, and you remember. In some of these city-states, being the duke, the leader of the city-state, is problematic. People are always trying to assassinate you to take your position. The houses are constantly fighting back and forth. So the duke is the one who gets all the pretty girls at court. The duke is the one that the townspeople always celebrate and cheer. It's a glory position that people always want. All of the work is done by a high noble called the mayor of the palace. All right? And the mayor of the palace does everything of note. They do the law, the taxes, the this, the that, the this. They even come up with policy. And the duke understands that the duke is usually never an idiot, and he always comes from a high-ranking noble family. But the mayor of the palace is the guy. He usually lives a very Spartan life, does all the work, gets none of the glory. And these two positions are neither one wants to be the other. For the mayor of the palace to be out here in the boonies is unusual. Very unusual. Roll 20-sided one more time.
14.
You were actually brought to a tower. And the tower isn't large, but it's as large as it needs to be. The area around it has been completely cleared so that the trees can't be used to access the high levels of the tower. And you see Jaegers around. There's all sorts of, like the blacksmithy is out there, and there's all sorts of kitchens and stuff like that outside the tower. He leads you up a ramp, and the ramp goes...
And are we still on horse or we're walking at this point?
Obviously, you're going to get off your horse and tie him up.
So on my horse, I'm going to look for anything. Do I have anything that's like a trinket or something of Zartoga, like, like a mother of pearl elephant, or something of interest that can be seen as a gift, an appropriate gift?
Roll 27.
19.
Okay.
Wow.
So who you are, such things are very important. Okay. So I'm going to say that pretty much everything that you wear, everything that you have is designed to be given away.
Gotcha.
Like you have 3 brooches, okay, on 3 different layers. You have necklaces, but then you have several. You have several this, several that, and they're all designed to be given away and be given as gifts. You have all kinds of books, silks, extra clothes, extra this, extra that. So you have everything that you would need to impress and to win people over. So you were led up this ramp that goes maybe 10 feet up or winding around, and then there's a door so that rams that are on ground level can't be used against the door. And you are led in, and when you enter the tower, you see that it's like a kicked over anthill. There are 20 knights in this room in a Jaeger tower. That's unusual. But you also see the mayor of the palace.
As I walk by them, I give them a look that they would expect from somebody that's a merchant or commoner, like a kind of like, little.
They actually look at you kind of. They look at you like, what on earth are you doing here? And the mayor of the palace, he turns and you can tell who he is because everyone's clustered around him, and he sees you. He says, "What do we have here?"
I get down on one knee and say, "Your Exaltedness, I am Azram of Mirelos. I come from the southern lands of the dune lands of Zartoga. I was told you were here, and I thought it would be an honor to meet someone of such high esteem."
"I'm the mayor of the palace, Vilmor."
"Vilmor, it is a pleasure."
He nods. He says, "Unfortunately, I am on fell errand, but you are welcome to travel with me, of course." And he looks at Garuda for like a full 3 seconds. And when Garuda just sort of like is like this, Garuda's eyes are kind of on the ground. Gives him 3 good seconds as almost like, what are you going to do with me staring at you type of thing. Garuda does nothing, and his eyes snaps right back on you, and he's just back to normal. He says, "You are welcome to accompany me, of course. You will be good conversation on the way."
That would be my honor. I'd love to speak to you of my lands. As such, I've brought you some gifts.
He nods.
He comes over and he goes in front of me. He has a nice, some silken cloth, and he puts one of those brooches in there. And he hands it to me and he says, "Silk, each strand cultivated individually, paired together by a family that has been working in this textile business for 1,000 plus years. Even a Jinn himself could not weave it so good."
He picks it up with reverence. You see the ranger, an older Jaeger, come kind of perk up, and also another man who looks maybe like not a page, but a courtier. He's not in armor, and he comes over and looks at it. And Vilnor puts it around his shoulders and puts the brooch on. He says, "By the gods, this is fun."
You suit it.
Azram, you know how to make friends.
The brooch, my lord, is made from the pulling of bones of 1,000 cobras, all venomous masters, predators of the Dunelands, to fit your cunning and your bravery.
He nods. He says, "I have heard rumor that the snake venom from those lands, if you drink it, is good for your nether parts. Is this true?"
It may help in the ways of frolicking, but if you drink too much, you may go blind or even worse die.
It is like all things. Well, I have much to tell you. A Jaeger bursts into the room. He says, "My lord, a beacon fire has been lit." And all of a sudden, everybody is all business. And Vilnor turns to him. Actually, Vilnor turns to the older Jaeger, and he says, "Thorn." And Thorn turns to the guy who just walked in. He says, "Whose beacon?" And the Jaeger nods, and he says, "It is that of Sig and Tark." Vilnor turns to Thorn and says, "Would that be appropriate?" And Thorn nods. Vilnor crosses his head and says, "Get everyone ready." Thorn says, "My lord, if we assemble everyone, this part of Karen is without eyes and ears." And Vilnor says, "I understand completely. Get everyone ready. We leave as soon as possible." And Thorn does not look happy at all. And he just sort of nods and he says, "As you wish, my lord." And he leaves quickly. And then Vilnor turns to you and he says, "We're going to earn some money today. A first daughter of Makos has gone rogue.
What is this first daughter?
Some idiotic young girl has decided that she doesn't want to get married to the first son of Garda, and she has taken off south and found herself in our lands. And what we are going to do is protect her and keep her from harm, and we are going to ensure that she gets back to her kin in one piece with her honor intact."
Of course, such a service deserves to be paid.
Oh, I think that a big price for our services is required. And this is the easiest money that my Lord Karen will ever make. Let us discuss what you think this is worth. I think maybe a chest of silver, considering that she is being married to the first son of Garda.
This depends. We deliver her. Purity intact.
Oh, she will be perfect. She will be perfection. In fact, anyone who says otherwise, perhaps they will not. Perhaps they will disappear in the forest, gathering blackberries forever. There are some who enjoy this life, and maybe they will do this for the rest of their lives and never be seen again. Who knows? And he laughs. He says, "The honor of a princess is worth much. Probably in your land as well. Though we must be realists about this. The princess herself may be... we may have to convince her of her own purity, if you understand what I mean."
Perhaps the greatest question is why they strayed into your lands. Do you smoke tobacco?
I've heard of such a thing, but I know not of it.
I have the finest prick from the Toga. As we travel, we'll let you taste it.
Let us go. Roll 20-sided one more time.
1.
Interesting.
Let's do an Angel Story reroll.
Oh shit.
I feel like you deserve it.
You're not gonna believe this. 2.
A 2 is not a 1.
Yes, right.
Remember, 1 is absolute catastrophe. 20 is jackpot. There's nothing like those two numbers. You two, roll 20-sided.
6.
18.
The next day, you continue. He is holding on, but you know it's only through pure willpower. And you walk, you are slow, he is slowing you down. Simona is talking with Lana most of the time, and you just, it's annoying to you, and it's almost like you think you should be more careful, but it's like she wants answers. She's like, "Lana, what happened? Why did we move south? What happened?" Lana says, I didn't have anything to do with it. Ask him. And Lord Toril says, no, it was all you. It was all you. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me? And you feel bad in a way because Lord Toril just seems like a kid.
Yeah.
But the thing is that what happened is very serious. He may be home when he gets back.
Yeah.
But nobody kind of wants to say that to him.
Well, and we know Lana was the one that took off and took.
Well, Lord Toril says so.
Yes.
If you believe him, then he said a lot of odd things though about Lana, if you recall. He did say that she was staring at a bird and it died, which was very odd to you.
Yeah, that's okay.
And he said that she almost had two personalities. And he seemed very afraid of her. Now he's not afraid, but he's like, he wants to kind of get back in her favor again. He thinks that maybe she'll save him. And she knows this, and she's just tight-lipped. And what will become of me? It depends on what I say, Lord Toril. You are dependent on what I say. All of you are. All of you are dependent. Someone says, quiet. Why did this happen? Why did you leave? Why did everyone go north? I don't know what you're talking about. And she is just very closed-mouthed and very arrogant. You don't like this because it's noise, and you know there's bandits everywhere. You don't like the fact that he's slow. You don't like the fact that you saw these fires, and you don't like the fact that the clouds are closer. You're getting little bits of rain. It's not raining, but you'll feel it every once in a while on your skin, and you know that it's going to be a little bit, that the rain is freezing cold. You know that things are about to get gruesome.
Do we have any kind of winter gear with us?
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
This is totally abnormal.
Yeah.
Totally abnormal. I want you guys to roll one more time before you get to the escarpment.
1.
The cats are still following, but all of a sudden you hear this meow, and it just you turn your head, and the cats just bolt. For some reason, you're walking with your bow and an arrow out, and for some reason you just make sure that it's knocked, and you look around. It's just instinct because of who you are, and you're glad you do because you think you saw a head disappear.
Okay. Did anybody else see
You did
that?
not see this.
uh,
Boric comes up to you, and he says, "What did you see?"
I saw a head, I thought, pop up and then disappear.
Where?
Down by the rocks, down by the edge there.
He trots
The
off.
cats took off near where the cats were.
Boric runs back. He pulls out his sword and he runs back. And roll 20 sided one more time.
8.
You roll 20 as well.
19.
As soon as Boric starts going back, you see the head return. Poof! It's an archer and he fires an arrow. He doesn't have your bow, but it's a short bow, and the arrow comes straight at you. Roll 20.
Zane.
1.
And it hits you.
Tried to run over to Zane.
Roll one more time.
A 5.
It hits you in your right arm. You take 5.
While he's down, I'm covering, looking to see where that shot came from. Do I see it?
You see you see him get hit. You turn and you look, and you see him pop up. You see Boric going towards the archer, but then you see 3 other guys come out and charge. They're bandits.
I draw
the
my
same
bow and
bandits as
instinctively,
before.
even though I'm feeling bad, 3 shots, boom, 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 towards the direction of the archer.
Fate, roll 20 sided.
1.
You take out your bow, you pull out your arrows, and all of a sudden you go, oh, and your vision leaves. And you're like, oh, what just happened? Now it starts to return, but I mean, literally it goes black.
Mm.
And then
So
it slowly starts to
cover
return, but you took a shot to the right arm.
Can I still use the arm?
Roll 20.
I need it for my bow. Oh, I almost had a 20. 8.
Barely, you're at minuses. Boric starts to engage the 3. The good thing is, he's the most badass swordsman here. You just see him cut one down, the other 2 back up, and he's engaging them, but they're backing up like this, so he's kind of fighting both of them at once. The archer, he draws back and he fires again. He sees that you're out of it. He's going to shoot at you again. Simona charges.
Am I on the ground or am I standing?
You're standing. Simona charges, but that's a bad thing because you hear a noise behind you. You turn and you see two guys running at you.
I grab my short
You-
sword with my good hand.
The two people are running like this. You're this way, so you're more towards the guys in front.
Okay.
But they're going to be on him, and he's wounded. You have your bow in your hand, but they are charging you. There's two of them.
I have my short sword. I'm gonna with my good hand.
You throw your bow, you draw your sword. Fate, roll 20-sided.
I pull out my throwing daggers at the ready, and I'm starting to take aim.
They're in range. You throw. Roll 20-sided.
2.
20.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
You bring your sword back like this.
Right under his eye.
You slip on gravel and you say, "Oh, I am dead." And the next thing you know, the guy who's right on top of you takes a knife to the throat. He drops the sword and just draws back as fast as he can.